So now that you have your resume in draft format, the next step or the next part of this 4-part series would be resume fine-tuning. Remember that the first part of the series was your skill audit and analysis. And the second part is resume drafting. If you missed any of these 2 parts, then you want to click in the link that leads to those 2 videos. In part 3, we will be looking at resume fine-tuning, and this is where we go into the nitty-gritty of fine-tuning this document that you will be using in your job search. We will take a look at how to ensure that your resume is relevant, accomplishment-based, and error-free. So we will be jumping right into the video. I hope it's useful to you. Welcome to the 4th part in this series covering skills audit and analysis, resume drafting, resume fine-tuning, and of course, cover letters. In today's class, we will be looking at the 3rd part in the series, which is fine-tuning your resume. And of course, in the last part in the series, we will be looking at cover letters. So let's jump in. So in terms of fine-tuning that resume document, if you recall, in the previous video, we looked at drafting your resume, and we looked at how important it is to perform a resume dump and as well take a look at your skills, your knowledge, your skills, your abilities, your education, and your work experience in order to put all that information down on paper. So today, you have that resume draft, and probably you're wondering, what next? What do we do, Anne? Well, ideally, you should start to fine-tune this document that you have in order to make it ready to apply to jobs. And that's what we will be looking at on the next slide. So let's recap on what a resume is. So hopefully, a resume is not a list of things you really never want to do again. We're hoping what a resume means for you is basically a means to market your skills and your ability. And so you need to take the time to ensure that this document represents you in the best possible way. All right. Remember that the employer only sees your resume in front of them in order to make a hiring decision. When they meet you, rather before they meet you, they meet your document, whether it's an electronic copy of your resume or a physical copy of your resume. That's the first document that introduces the employer to you. And so you want to ensure that you take the time to ensure that that document represents you in the best possible way. It is what I will call your marketing tool. The only difference from being a marketing tool is that most of the time when people are marketing a product, they're there to defend the product. But in this case, you have your resume defending you and you're not there to defend it. So you want to make sure that the document presents you in the right way, in a way in which the employer would be willing to meet you. And so sometimes with resumes, there might be a tendency that you want to go overboard. But the aim of your resume is not to inundate the recruiter with all you are and have to offer. So you want to make sure that your document is fluid. All right? You want to make sure your resume document is a fluid document that can be adapted to different job types and job applications. Remember that you've got a wealth of experience and exposure, and you don't want to give the recruiter too much information that's not relevant to each role. So take the time to make sure that even if you start out having a master copy of your resume, ideally for each job that you're applying to, you want to tailor that master copy to something that's relevant to each role that you're applying to. I cannot overemphasize the importance of taking this step. You also want to include keywords that match the job description, because guess what? The recruiter has put up together a document called the job description, and that details what they're looking for. So you want to make sure that what you have matches what's on that job description. All right. And as well, knowing fully well that the keywords would survive an ATS. An applicant tracking system is what a lot of companies use in creating a long list to see who's who they'd like to take forward and invite for an interview. You also want to make sure that the resume sells you so much that the recruiter would like to meet you. That's very crucial. Now, in order to make your resume relevant to each job and accomplishment-based as well, you want to include power words in your resume. These power words can be grouped into 4 main types. The first are action verbs. So these are verbs that you would put into each of your job requirements or job responsibilities to show what you actually did. You also want to ensure that you have relevant skills. So you want to include those relevant skills on your resume, and those would typically be based off the job description. So relevant skills is a second type of power words that you should be including on your resume. The third type of power words you should be including are company values. So perhaps go to the website of the company that you're applying to, take a look at their About Us section and see what they're about, see what the company is about, see what's important to them. And you want to look for those keywords that you see that they have used in drafting their value statement, and include some of those keywords on your resume. They can go a long way for the company to see that you're ready to work with them and see that you meet the requirements of the role. The fourth thing that you would like to include on your resume as a way of showing power words are industry keywords. So every industry is different, and depending on the industry or the field you're applying to, there would be certain nuances or keywords that are being used in that industry. You want to make sure that all those are reflected on your document. As you apply these words, you want to make sure that you are detailing how you can add value to each employer, because at the end of the day, when all is said and done, all the recruiter wants to see is how you can add value. So once you're done with your resume document, the next step is a cover letter. So perhaps you're thinking, I don't need a cover letter, or maybe you're thinking, I think I need one, but I'm not sure how to prepare one. My last video in this series speaks about cover letters and how it can help you stand out with your application. So you want to make sure you do not miss that video. All right. So definitely make sure that you hit the like button if you really liked this video, and click as well to subscribe to our channel and hit the notifications as well so that you can be notified when there's new content. I hope this was helpful to you. If you have specific questions, if you have areas where you need me to cover, put that in the comment section and I'm happy to help you there. Thank you.